So here is what we're going to be calling a day in the life of a PMO with Microsoft Project Online. So just to provide a little bit of housekeeping, again, if everyone can keep their phone lines on mute, that'd be great. And then as well, feel free to chat. That would be great. I encourage a lot of communication, discussion. I was able to collect a lot of your questions in the emails. Thank you so much. It really helps out to know what are some of the challenges that a lot of you are facing, and it is good to know that a lot of you are facing the same challenges. So I was able to really take a lot of your challenges and put them into like three or four. So I will save some time at the end to answer any additional questions, and let's go ahead and kick this off. So we're very much into social media. If you follow our page, at Twitter, it's at Trusted IT Group. Facebook, you can find us at TIG, Microsoft Project Consulting. We like to post a lot of these memes and stuff. So these are some of our posts from earlier this week. So the one on the left-hand side over here, let us help you organize and automate your PMO process. That's really specific to what we're about to talk about today. So probably some of you looking at this picture of the cluttered desk with the folders and the post-it notes and stickies all over the place. You could probably relate to that kind of environment. And what I'm going to show you over here is a good way to from a high level how you can organize everything from the PMO type of process. Of course, the middle picture, are you brave enough to take your PMO to new heights? Whether you are implementing something new or you're looking at a new process, look, we all understand, we've all been there, that sometimes change is really difficult to implement, and there might be, some sort of stubbornness to take it to the next level. But sometimes you just have to, step up, be brave, and take your team to the new level. And then, the old business way, the new business way. We're going to talk about some of the new business ways and the new platforms. And of course, some of you might think that your plate is full and you can't possibly take on anything else. But then you see a new project, and you're similar to us, but we just don't want to say no. So it's okay to not say no. But we'll show you some steps on why it's okay to justify a no, and we'll get to that later. Just a little bit about Trusted IT Group. We are a gold Microsoft PPM partner. Some organizations focus on Microsoft Exchange, Excel, Word, CRM, etc. Our whole focus has been we've committed our lives over here to deal with Microsoft Project Online and Project Server. So again, we're here to help you out in that regard. You might be wondering a little bit about me. Who is this guy that you're going to be listening to for the next hour? So that's a picture of me. And again, I really do appreciate the fact that everyone was able to take an hour out of a day. I know an hour to me is very important, so I want to be able to get some value, and I hope to do the same thing. What I'm going to show you over here, it's a shortened version of what I was trained for. So I became a Microsoft certified CIE facilitator, and what that is we create an environment of Microsoft Project Online. We typically allocate 2 or 3 hours, like a half-day session. We would come on site to your organization. You would bring your laptops. We would load up a demo environment, and we would run through a day in the life of a PMO. So everyone would get their chance to click on something, create tasks, assign tasks, do portfolio optimization, etc. See how it integrates with Skype. See how it integrates with Exchange. So this is a really quick, role play, if you will, of what that customer immersion experience, i.e., what that's all about. So I know that sometimes in these events we save questions for the end, but I just want to be able to answer some of the questions from the email immediately off the bat, just so you're not wondering if I'm going to get to them or not. And we'll save some time at the end for some new questions, and I really do hope that that does come up. So first question is, so there was a lot of questions on how does Project Online take into account for not only the waterfall, but perhaps Kanban, Scrum approaches. So great question, and this has been a super hot topic that's been going on since Agile has been entering organizations. So what I'm about to show does not deal with Agile. It's strictly waterfall, as you'll see from the scheduling. However, I can direct you to a couple areas onto the website where we have similar type of presentations on how waterfall and agile could live together, and we do provide that type of integration. I don't want to get into that, but I just want to let you know that there are opportunities to integrate agile tools like Jira version 1, TFS, etc. with Project Online, or you can also have agile within Project Online, and I could show you that at another time. So again, there was a lot of questions about transparency across projects. We are going to show you that, so I'll save the answer to that. But there's, in a very short way of saying, Project Online Project Server provides a central repository of projects, so you'll be able to see really easily one view all the projects, and from a security perspective, from a governance perspective, you'll be able to define user roles so that certain users could see certain projects that are relevant to them. Another question is, how do you integrate information received from a project request form? And I think that that was a great question. So that is something that we will also be able to show you in this example. I don't want to get too much into there, but you will be able to fill out a project request form, and all that information gets integrated later into the project, and we'll show you. And then again, how did team members track time against their projects? And time tracking has been a very, very hot topic, and we will show you how this is done in Project Online, and I'll get to that in a second. So one thing that we want to go ahead when we show this environment, when we run into what could be, a process, a day in the life of a PMO, it's important that we put a couple assumptions out here. So the first assumption about this process is that you will typically start with a project request. Okay, so somebody will request a project. After that, someone's going to have to approve the project request. Once the project request has been approved, then you're going to have to do some sort of project scoring on this new project. You are going to have to schedule some tasks, so you're going to have to create a schedule, create some tasks. Once you create some tasks, you want to build a team and assign resources to those tasks. Then you want the team members, when they're actually working on the projects, you want them to track time against those tasks. But you are also going to want them to track non-project operational tasks. Let's say vacation, sick time, days off, things like that. So that's part of the process. I do want to go back to steps 4 and 5. 4 and 5, you might consider that to be a manual process. You might want to automate a schedule, so when you create the project, when a project is approved, it automatically creates a schedule based on what you do day in and day out. So that's possible, but we're going to take the scenic route today. And then, of course, you want executives to view the dashboards, right? So from an executive perspective, you're going to want to see where you are in this whole process. And then lastly, you might have committees, you might have executives that meet at whatever frequency that are going to review the projects. They also want to be able to do project scoring. So they might want to overwrite the initial project scoring because, they're executives and they know best, of course, right? So they're going to want to go ahead and overwrite the scoring, which then is going to produce some kind of weighted number. And based on this weighted number, you're going to be able to move forward with the project or not move forward with the project. So let's do a quick poll. So the quick poll over here, is this process similar to what we just discussed? Is your process similar to this? And let's just take a couple seconds. I do want to let you know that Skype for Business does not allow us to track who clicked what. So all your answers are completely anonymous. So feel free to write whatever that you would want. And it looks like everyone, for the most part, 80% of people are saying that, yeah, sort of, this process, these assumptions is based on what we have. Some people, two people said absolutely no way. So I would definitely like to hear why it's completely not. And then some people are saying that we have no process. So that could be an issue, but that only presents us with an opportunity. So that's great. Okay, so for the most part, everyone is saying that this is a very similar type of process. So great, thank you. All right, let me go ahead. Let's go back. I want to set the stage for what you are about to see. So we have a partner by name of Fluent Pro, and they are a software developer for Project Online. So we are a consulting firm. They are a software development organization, and together we have this trusted IT group, Fluent Pro PMO pre-configured solution. So what you're going to see is this Project Online pre-configured environment. We deploy this basically in 2 weeks, comes with workflows, project types, custom project detail pages, and I'll highlight what all these are, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is not intended for a sales presentation, but I just do want you to know what you're looking at, because it's not going to look like a standard out-of-the-box, Microsoft Project Online environment. However, what we're going to show you, there is no custom coding in anything. So the whole basic concept, this allows you to start quick, start narrow, grow, and evolve. Great. So a day in the life of a PMO with Microsoft Project Online, and these are our two characters, Tom and Jerry. So Tom and Jerry have this relationship that they're always fighting against each other. So Tom will consider Tom to be the manager, someone manager PMO, director PMO. We'll call him project manager. And Jerry is a team member. The reason why they're fighting, I really believe, is because they just don't have an automated process. Had they have a common goal and some kind of process that is set in stone, you see, they could be friends, they could be shaking hands, they can hug each other, and that's kind of what we aim to achieve. So we want to show you this, and hopefully you're not having any fights internally, but if you are, this can make it all that easier. So here is a live Microsoft Project Online environment. And as you can see right here, we are logged in with the user Tom. Okay, and we have another user logged in. And this user, we'll start over here. And this user is Jerry. So these are two users that are logged in to Microsoft Project Online, and they're about to, start the show, per se. So we would start the process as a project, as requesting the project. So Jerry comes in here, and Jerry says, I have a really cool idea for a project. Jerry clicks on the project request, and he sees this intake form. And now this relates to this question before, so will information from this intake form, will it be able to translate into the project? We'll show you, but it all starts right here. So for example, Jerry will go ahead and he'll say day in the life project. And he's going to start. And as you can see, this is the only required field. You can define what fields are required. You can go ahead and set whatever is correct for your particular organization. The requester, you can go ahead and type in Jerry as the requester. And because it's tied in to the Active Directory, you're going to easily be able to see, who it was, and you don't have to go ahead and type the entire name. And there's all these fields that you can fill out: request summary, opportunity, objective, what's in scope for the project, out of scope. If you do benefits management, you're going to be able to write down what's the expected number, what's the expected gain that you're going to get, what's the, qualitative as opposed to quantitative. So here you'll be able to say what's the qualitative, uh, what type of benefit are you going to get. And there's all these fields that you can change in here. So you can keep these, you can change them, whatever that you would like. And then you would be able to assign which type of project type this is. Why would this be useful? Because if your organization has many different types of projects, complex project, basic projects, marketing projects, sales projects, infrastructure projects, IT, whatever it is, you can assign different project types to different project types to different requests. They would get different workflows and different people approving them, different schedules. What we were talking about earlier, you would be able to have schedules that are part of these different project types. But we're going to keep it easy. We're going to do complex PMO project, and that's it. And we're going to click save. So now it's sending the data to the server. And you could also see a list of all the other project requests. So this is kind of like your laundry list of all the project requests that are going on. Okay, so Jerry, good job. Jerry just requested the project. So let's go back to the home screen. We're going to go click on our buddy Adam Sandberg over here. And just to let you know that you can replace Adam Sandberg if you would like with your own company logo. So now we're going to go ahead and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at Tom. So Tom now is going to have to do the approval. Oh, and look, because this is tied to Office 365, Tom just got an email, a task assigned. So we can go ahead and we can take a look at this task right here. Or let's go ahead and let's go take a look at our email. So this is, again, this is Office 365. This is, a day in the life of PMO in the cloud. And as we could see right here, that we have a project request. So let's go see. Okay, so the project request right now, Tom now has a new task. The task is that he has to approve this day in the life project. So Tom says, okay, this is what I have to do. This is my job. So now Tom can click on this. You can click on this link right here, and it brings you right to the approval screen. So what Tom's going to do is he's going to go ahead and click on the edit button, and we're going to go ahead. You can add whichever fields that you want here to justify the approval. You can change a description, but we're going to keep this simple for this demo purpose, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to click approve. So now that we clicked approve, the project has been approved. Let's just take a second and see what we're looking at right here. So here is the list of all the workflow tasks assigned to, this is part of the project requests, part of the workflow tasks, etc. So now you see what tasks have been done, what tasks haven't been done. You can see that we've done a bunch of tests over here, approve, not approve. Okay, done. So it's been all approved. So now Tom's going to go ahead and we're going to go and take a look at this environment. So now we could take a look. So this is Tom's home screen, and this is the Fluent Pro Trusted IT Group package, but this is based on the Fluent Pro PMO pre-configured environment. Again, I just want to remind everyone what we're looking at, but ultimately this is Project Online. All right, so here we could take a look at our dashboards, but we'll save that for the end. You could take a look at your tasks. We'll save that for when there's actual, tasks assigned. We all took a look at the project requests, and here's the project types. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at My Projects. So when we click on My Projects, now we get to what's called the Project Center. Now the Project Center will answer that question in that email that I brought up earlier as to how can you get visibility into all the projects that are going on right here. And this is, again, this is basic, out of the box. This is no configure. This is no customization. Just, this could be no configuration even. So this right here is all. These are all the projects that are going on simultaneously. So you might have a situation where you have, the majority of people that we've spoken to, the organization that we've dealt with, typically have projects in the desktop client of Microsoft Project, or they're using Excel or something like that. For you to compile all of those reports and then to submit them to someone, showing them where they are in the project, it could get kind of tedious. The work, the amount of effort and work is kind of, it's a lot of work. What you have right here is one area where you could see all the projects that are going at the same time. And these are, based on the view that you select, you can see certain information. So let's just take a look at what we have. We have our Gantt chart. We have a Gantt chart that everyone could see. We have, we can easily see this is the summary view. And if we look down, we could see these columns. There's a start, there's the finish of the project, there's the percent to complete. Let's go ahead and see what else is on here. There's the amount of work, there's the owner, etc. So now we can go ahead and we could take a look at the different ways to take a look at that. We can look at it by work, we can look at it by cost. Let's just go ahead and take a look at it by cost just to see what's going on. You have the cost. Again, this is the cost that you enter at the very beginning in the project request form. So that cost that you enter in the project request form, again, that carries right over. So it has places for that. Baseline costs, you'll be able to see actual costs, fixed costs, cost variance. I mean, these are just some of the metrics that you could see without even pulling in any type of reports. I tend to like the summary view. So let's take a look at the summary view. Also, something else that might be kind of interesting to take a look at. Let's say Tom has a couple key projects that's on his mind, and there's a lot of projects. Okay, so here there's 7 projects. Well, now there's 8 with this new one that we created. Let's say there's 100 projects. Let's say that your organization has 1,000 projects, but there's a couple of them that you really want to focus on. You could just go ahead, select whichever project that you want, and you can go ahead and add a project to the timeline. So this is just just another way for you to take a look at a visual representation as to what's going on in your entire portfolio. So you can just see that, and you can click on these projects, and you'll be able to open them, remove them from the timeline, etc. But let's just keep them on. Okay. We're going to go and find the project that we just created, Day in a Life project. Okay, so here we have the Day in a Life project, and let's just take a look at what we're seeing over here. So we are seeing all the workflow stages. So let's say that there's certain governance that your organization dictates in order to move forward to the next gate or phase in a project. You can predefine all those. Okay, so we'll scroll up, and when I was referring to the different types of project detail pages, this is what a project detail page is. So as you could see right here, the top line information is Day in a Life project. So that's the name of the project. Consider that almost like a folder. And then there's subfolders within the folder where you can store different project information. And that's exactly what we're looking at. So we could take a look at the project summary. And the project summary is where you can have the name, the high-level scope. Again, this is some of the information from the request form that we filled out. So again, this is answering that question. Again, when you put in the project request form, all that information transfers over to the project. Okay, then there's the project charter. So the project charter, again, it just defines the scope of the project, and you would be able to edit this after the fact as well. But again, this information comes from the request form. And, again, this is just an example of how it could look like, and you could already start to think about in your own minds how this could apply to your particular use case. Okay, great. So we'll get to the schedule in a second. Let's just take a look at strategic impact. So strategic impact deals with the scoring mechanism. So here you would, let's just take a look at over here, driver library. If we were to click to the driver library, this is where you would have various executive meetings and determine what your overall business driver would be, where you want your business to go, what are the important strategic directions that your organization wants to get to. So for this organization, for this PMO that we have with Tom and Jerry, they've identified that there's a couple business drivers important. Is this new project, is it providing innovation? Is it expanding? Is it going to help us expand to new markets and segments? Does this project that we just requested, is it going to increase customer satisfaction? Is it going to increase employee satisfaction, retention, etc.? So there are all these different rating mechanisms. So we can go ahead, we can call it, we would have to edit this. And once we edit it, we would be able to select what's the scoring rating. Is it low, moderate, etc. And we'll show you a little bit later where that weight would actually fall. So let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule. So here is where you would actually start to schedule your project. So let's go ahead and edit this page. And this view will probably be very similar to those that are used to Project Professional. This is probably something that would be familiar to those using Project on the desktop client. So notice everything that we've been doing over here is in the cloud, in the browser. So I'm using Internet Explorer for one of the users. I'm using Chrome for another user. This is all in the cloud. Okay, so we'll just write some simple tasks. So task 1. Task 2, Task 3, Task 4, and we'll do all of our favorite things such as we will auto schedule this task, and we'll drag and drop it so that we don't have to do too many clicks, and we're going to go ahead and link all these different tasks. So we'll make it look like a nice waterfall type of project, and we'll create the duration, 2 days over here, 2 days over here, 2 days over here, 2 days over here. Great. So now we have our durations, our tasks, starts, finish, percent complete, work. Now we're just missing the resources. So let's just talk about this screen for just 1 second. So this is this type of workflow that we have assigned to this particular project type, which was the complex PMO project type. Remember, we went to the project request form and we were able to select the drop down. So this particular project type that we have, it did not have any type of templated schedule. To make your PMO process that much more automated, if there's a schedule that you happen to adhere to every single time is just a cookie cutter template, you can assign that schedule template to a project type. So every time you create that project type, you wouldn't have to manually enter these tasks and the durations like I would. However, you still would be able to edit it afterwards. So to give you that kind of flexibility, we can even take it one step further. And you would even have the opportunity to create the schedule template with generic resources. And the benefit of doing that, as you can imagine, we would do the generic resources and then you could build your team based on those type of generic resources coded in your Active Directory. So we'll get to that in 1 second. So let's go ahead and save the schedule. Okay. So now, the next part in our process is to build a team. Let's go ahead and build our team. And there's a couple challenges that I'm hearing around building a team. Where are my resources? Who's available? Who's not available? How can we see that? So this is all part of this resource management component. And let's go ahead and let's show you how this could be done. if you're in Project Online in the cloud. Okay, so we have our resource pool, and this is this could be based on the Active Directory that you currently have. So as you can see, there's a lot of generic resources in here, but we're going to go ahead and we could take a look at all resources, cost resources, material resources, etc. You can filter by, so there's lots of different ways to filter this by resource name, etc. Cost. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of these resources. So let's go ahead. Let's just see what's over here, and we're going to go ahead and click on Jerry, and let's go ahead and click on Tom. So Tom is thinking, you know what? I'm not just a regular. I'm just not just a regular director or manager or PM. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to actually do the work too with Jerry, because we're in this together. So he's going to see if he can assign himself a couple tasks, and he's going to see if Jerry's available to assign himself some tasks. But we don't know if they're available just yet. So what Tom would do is Tom would go ahead and take a look at this capacity planning module. Let's go ahead, click on the capacity planning module. And here you would be able to see this resource utilization. So let's just talk about this for just 1 second, okay? As you can see, this is your capacity line right here. We're not going to spend too much time on the different views and the different ways to look at it. You can look at it in hours, in months, different ways to slice and dice this. However, you see there's 16. Well, this is taking a look at hours per day. And the capacity is 16, right? Because we selected 2 resources. So we're running with the assumption that every day is 8 hours. Guess depending on where you are, 7-hour days. I can't wait till we get to a 4-hour day over here. But whichever way, typically we're going to start with 8-hour days. So here we go. And as you could see, the capacity drops down to 0 hours because these are weekends. So these are weekdays. And again, we're back to the weekends. One important thing to note is that this capacity planning would also take into account for people's calendars. So this would take in effect for vacation days made in advance. This would take for holidays tied to the enterprise calendar. These are some of the benefits that you have by having Project Online in with the Office 365 stack. So, okay, so cool. So we see that there's some capacity, there's some availability, and let's just go ahead and see the details. Had Jerry and Tom been assigned to work, you would be able to see that their availability wouldn't necessarily be 8 hours, it would be less. And you would also be able to see what projects they are assigned to. So let's say that you're taking a look at Tom or Jerry, and they're assigned to, they're not available. So let's just take a look at this top view. You would see that they're not available. They are planned up to their capacity. And you take a look at their project down here, and their project, and they're assigned to one of the projects, you'll actually have visibility into what projects they're assigned to and when and where. Okay, so the fact is that they are available. So now that we know this, we can go ahead and add them to the schedule with confidence that they are available. So we're going to go ahead and click Add. We just added them to the, we didn't add them to the schedule yet, but what we're going to do is save and close. We just added them to the team, to the project team. All right, save completed successfully. We're going back to our schedule now. Time check, 2:40. We're doing pretty good on time. And now we're going to go ahead and assign these resources. So here's Tom, here's Jerry, and there they are. And just like Excel, we're going to click in the lower right-hand corner. We're going to go ahead and drag down. And there you go. Now they're assigned. We're not done yet. We have to publish. Everyone that's familiar with Microsoft Project knows this feature all too well, probably in some different ways. They might have their own feelings about it. We all do. So here you go. You're going to publish it. It's going to save. And now these resources are assigned to those particular tasks. And now we're getting a whole bunch of notifications. We're going to go ahead and see what those notifications are. It's saved. Okay, great. So let's just do a quick 5-second recap over everything that we just did. Let's go ahead. Let's go browse. Let's go click on Adam Sandberg again. So let's just do a quick little recap over everything that we did. So the day in the life of this PMO so far was we're going to go ahead and submit a project request. We're going to fill out all that information to the best of our ability, and we're going to select which project type that's for, and then we're going to submit it. Somebody, in this case Tom, got an email notification that he needs to do a project request. Okay, cool. So that just so he got that email, he got that notification. Tom then clicked on that request link. It got him to approve it, and then we went and we scored the project based on these strategic business drivers defined by the business at some time prior to the project request. We built a schedule based on 4 simple tasks. We linked them all together, and then we built our team, checked out the resource capacity, took a look at who's available, who's not, and assigned them to specific tasks. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead. Let's go switch back to Jerry. Jerry seems to be a little lonely, if you ask me. So he hasn't done too much in this webinar. So let's go ahead and let's open up Jerry's email. So Jerry just got an email. Let's just go ahead and take a look at what this says. So Jerry just got this email that's saying assignments have been updated on this project, day in a life project. Okay, so just to let you know, all this verbiage could be configured to your liking. If you don't want it to read no reply at SharePoint online, that's no problem. That could be changed to whatever that you want it to be. And here you go. You see right here. So Jerry, he's off doing something else. Maybe he went to lunch or something like that. And he just got his email, and he knows that he's just been assigned 4 different tasks. Task 1, Task 2, Task 3, Task 4. Jerry now even knows when's the start of this task and when this task is supposed to finish. He knows how many work hours are part of this task, and so he could just go ahead and start to work on this. So there you go. So now let's go into the aspect. So let's take a look at this. So Jerry can go ahead and click on My Tasks. And in My Tasks, he sees right there where his tasks are. So he doesn't have to look all over the place again. Project Online, central repository, define what users see what, and there you go. He would be able to see exactly what he needs to do, when he needs to do it, all in one location. So here we go. Jerry's working on the project. He's working on his task. Now he needs to fill out his timesheet. Let's go ahead and check out the timesheet. So here we go. This timesheet, what do we notice right here? So now Jerry's in this timesheet. We notice that there's a couple different columns. There's a couple different rows. So let's read what these rows say. Day in a life. Let's just take this a little bit longer. Day in a life project. That's the project name. Task 1. And then there's a couple, non-project operational time. So we'll talk about this for a second. Jerry can add a comment. He can enter vacation time. You can also select a different period to go ahead and enter your vacation time. So had Jerry, right now we are almost in June. Jerry knows that he's about to go ahead and take a vacation in August with his family, so he can go ahead and select the period, or just keep on clicking next. I would probably just select the period to the particular time that he wants to enter his vacation time. And you can go ahead and you can enter the amount of hours that you're going to do that. Okay, but right now Jerry's not on vacation. Jerry's busy working. So here he goes. We're going to go ahead and let's just take a look at something, and let's take a look at the planned. So we could take a look at the actual, or we can see the planned. And we know, because we're looking at the plan, that this task is not supposed to start until Thursday and Friday. So it's not supposed to start till, today and tomorrow. So 8 hours. Jerry says, you know what? I worked a full 8 hours over here, and let's pretend that it's Friday. Jerry now worked 8 hours over here. Now it's not submitted. You are still going to have to submit it. Okay, so we can go over to timesheet, and let's just take a look at one thing. You're probably wondering, or maybe you already know, but I'm not going to assume that you know this or not. You're already assuming that over here that there's only one task. That's because we're not on the weeks where the other tasks are scheduled. So here we go. We're going to turn in our final timesheet. Say I did such a great job. Maybe a raise, because these tasks, I mean, they were done so well. Okay, so that's that. Let's flip over to Tom. And I know that we are running kind of tight on time, so I'm going to run through this section fairly quickly. And there you go. So as you can see right here, now Tom, because he's the timesheet manager for Jerry, he now can take a look at the timesheet line, everything that's associated with it, and either accept it or reject it. Cool. So now let's take a look at, kind of an executive view for what could be done over here. So now we're going to take a look at our portfolio analysis. So the portfolio analysis, we're considering this to be a CIO meeting analysis. So this is you would be able to create your what if type of scenarios on various projects and various constraints. So let's see what that looks like. So we're going to go ahead. I just want to demonstrate just one thing before we go ahead and take a look at this. We could reprioritize our projects. So remember that we did the scoring by project. Well, there's a chance for the executives to overrule whatever was scored before. So now they can run through this scenario and they could go ahead and see, acquisition target analysis low for innovation, new markets, expanding to new markets strong, etc. So I just wanted to be able to show that that's where they would be able to rescore that project. Depending on what was scored, it would then create, with this internal algorithm, the amount of strategic impact that that particular project has towards the entire portfolio. So let's do one quick example, and I'm going to go ahead and play with this. If we were to modify this expected cost from $763,000, so this is our budget. If we were to reduce the budget by $200,000, look at our 7 projects. This is for $763,000. We could do all 7 projects. Let's just do one quick game. Let me see who's still with me over here. This is poll number 3. If we reduce the budget to $500,000, can we still move forward with all 7 projects? Someone said, no, we need to remove 2 projects from our portfolio. Someone said, of course we can. I like that optimism. We can always do things. 3 people said we need to remove 2 projects from our portfolio. 1 said that I have no idea by just looking at it. We have a couple more people that are saying that you need to remove 2 projects. I wonder if everyone's selecting no because everyone is selecting no. So we're just jumping on the bandwagon. The truth of the matter is, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go see what the truth is. So now, let's go ahead and reduce this. We're going to enter the new budget. We're going to recalculate it. Whoever said that we need to remove 2 projects from the portfolio, give yourselves a pat on the back, because you are 100% right. For those that said we don't really know, we need to take a look at that, you are also right. And for those that said that you could still do it, you are also right, because I believe that there's never a shortage of money, and you can go ahead and find the extra budget for it. So no one's wrong. Everyone wins in this scenario. Realistically, this is just playing on the example that you don't know without having some sort of metrics to be able to grade where the strategic value lies. So based on this expected cost, we have $500,000. This algorithm is telling us that we could choose 5 of these. We have to move forward with these 5 projects because they provide us the most amount of strategic value for the cost of the project. Now, this moved a couple of these projects out. You always have the ability to go ahead and force in a particular project. You can go ahead and recalculate it. And when you recalculate it, let's go ahead so because we moved in the company portal database migration, it's providing us 10% of our overall strategic value. You know what? Now we have to move out 3 projects, because these are too expensive and they don't provide us too much value. And that's what we're trying to talk about, automating this process so that you have now a really, really good understanding of where your portfolio is. One more scenario. Let's go ahead and let's go back for a second. Let's go back to our baseline. So not only can we look at the portfolio by budget constraint, but we can also look at it by resource constraint. So I'm going to do one more pop quiz. So take a look at this right now. So right now, it's telling us that, let's see, let's put this situation in here. You know what? I was playing with it a little bit earlier. What this would allow you to do is take a look at the resources that you have currently in the bank. So you would be able to see the resource availability. You would be able to see what resources and roles that you have currently. And then you would be able to see what resources you're going to be required in what particular months and what particular years. You can also analyze that by a hired resource report. So I ran a scenario, is what happens if we would then hire 20 people? Would we need 20 people, or do we need less in order to do all of these projects? And we're going to go ahead and show you this. It would publish a report really quickly that would say, you know what, you don't need 20. You only need 18 to achieve 100% strategic value, to do all the projects. You're going to need to hire these type of roles for this project to start in this day, to end in this time. And here's the cost, here's the work, and here's the rate based on the resource pool. Gives you a lot of different ways to take a look at that. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. You know, that's pretty much the process from start to finish. Some people would want to know what's next. Well, typically you can do a couple different, we can move this in a couple different ways. You can request a project online free trial because we are a Microsoft Gold PPM partner. You can reply back to the very email that I had sent you, and you could say, hey Dan, I would like to request a free 30-day online trial. This would, we would also be able to include the 30-day trial of the EPM Pulse, the reporting dashboard I just showed you. You can say, I'm good with the free trial. I want to move ahead with the POC. We can help you move forward with the POC. If you're not ready for any of that and you just want to have some discussions, we can help facilitate a road mapping session. What are your current capabilities right now? Where would you like your capabilities to be in the future? We would also be able to have a PPM strategy discussion where we can meet on site virtually and just help you discuss, help you, talk through some of the problem statements that you have, and we would be more than happy just to, help you come up with a overall PPM strategy. So, how to stay in touch? You can join our Facebook group, Microsoft PPM Success. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this into the chat. So we are trying to grow this Facebook group. Right now, we have somewhere around 40 members. We started this group, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We have 40 members right now. This is a great forum for you to come, ask your PPM questions, Microsoft related, not Microsoft related, and you're guaranteed to get an answer from us within minutes, because everything is connected to our phones and emails and things like that. So it's a great forum. Please also like our Facebook page, TIG Microsoft Project Consulting. Let me go ahead and paste this in here as well. And from here, we'll be able to, you'll see all those cool memes that I showed you in the beginning that we like to post. We post PPM tips all the time, updates on any of the webinars that we're going to be doing, presentations, etc. You can also follow us on Twitter at Trusted IT Group, similar type of thing. You can also visit our website, trusteditgroup.com. There you'll be able to see a list of all our services, our blog. We have on-demand thought leader webinars. Feel free to go there. And then, of course, keep an eye out open for the emails. We have monthly e-newsletters, monthly webinars, live PPM events that we do with Microsoft, and we also go to PMI local, national, and international conferences. So we really aim to lead by education, and I do hope that you were able to find this some sort of an educational. Didn't want this to come across as too salesy. If it did, I apologize, but there's no way for me to really show you a day in a life of what a PMO would do in the cloud without having you see all these different features. So I know that we are done for the time at 3 o'clock, but I'm going to stay on here because, I have nowhere better to be than to be right here with everyone else. Are there any questions? Does anyone have any questions for me? I'm gonna go ahead and I am on LinkedIn. You can find us. You can search for Trusted IT
Hey,
Group. We are on LinkedIn. Yeah.
hey, Daniel.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. I had a quick question. Does this integrate into SharePoint at all?
This is actually built right on top of SharePoint. So some of the things that you saw, such as well, hold on. Before I answer that question, do you like SharePoint or don't you like SharePoint?
I like it. I
Okay,
don't think
good.
I'm using it to the full capability of it, but I do like it.
Okay, good. No, I'm just joking because there are some, conceptions about SharePoint, and we all love to hate it. So, but yeah, Project Online is built right on top of SharePoint, and the fact that project request form that you saw, that's built on SharePoint, and you can definitely
Oh,
leverage the SharePoint lists to kind of make this PM process all that easier. And some of all the workflows are actually built with the SharePoint designer.
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Okay, so the workflows and the project request form are both on SharePoint. Okay, cool.
exactly.
And I saw it's also integrated into email, which is also fantastic.
Absolutely. It's integrated not only with that, I mean, it's integrated with the entire Office 365. So, for example, if you had Skype for Business, part of the EA package, you would also be able to, take a look at the resource pool, just like I showed you. You kind of mouse over the resource that you're looking at, and the link for or the button for Skype for Business would come up, and you can send them an IM or video chat them or call them right then.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right, I'm
Great
going to
question.
mute. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Anybody else? Thank you for the comments. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's so nice that you guys enjoyed it. We enjoyed doing this. As you could see, I think Alexander was he was chatting in here also. He's a Microsoft Project MVP. So sorry, Alex, I don't want to put you on blast over here, but he is a Microsoft Project MVP. There's 55 or 56 of them in the world, and he is the owner and the managing partner of Trusted IT Group. So there is hardly a question that he can't answer. So now's your chance. Now's your chance. So here, everyone thinks that this is interesting. Good presentation. Thanks, Daniel. The tool look awesome. Thanks, Jose. Eric said, yes, the sound is good. Video switching screens is good as well. Haven't seen much of those in the space. Do we get PDUs for this presentation? Giovanna asks. Yes, you can. You can, not through us because we're not registered by PMI. However, I did speak to PMI to let them know that we are doing these types of thought leader presentations, and they said that all the attendees can self-report. I would probably categorize this under either the leadership or the technical category. It could fall into both. And if there's any information that you need from us, feel free to send me an email. I think that we've already corresponded a couple times, so feel free to ask me to send you anything you need, whether it's overviews or PowerPoints or anything like that. I hope that answers your question, Giovanna. Okay, we still have around 40 people here, which is really good. I didn't scare anyone away. Well, I guess I just scared one. We just dropped down to 39. But anyone else have any questions? Now's the time to ask. We're right here. Let me go ahead and unmute the audience. I hope that doesn't send everyone into a chaos, but here you go. Everyone is unmuted. Feel free to ask your question. Or give me your thoughts too. I am interested to get some feedback from a presentation perspective, tooling perspective.
Hey, Dan.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, good. Is there a program or portfolio view that has fever charts that shows which project is in trouble on a quick view that makes it easy to monitor?
Are you talking about a heat map?
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Alex, do you want to take that question more specifically?
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Dan, you want me to take the control or I just
Yeah, are you gonna want to show it right away? Sure.
I think I can show something right away.
Here you go.
So there is a portfolio. So there is a series of ways to define what is it the trouble and what is it not the trouble. I guess the there's a scientific way of doing that, and there's a more like subjective, non-scientific way of doing that. And some organizations, some more mature organizations, they can afford basically to do more scientific approach. Uh, but in many cases, this is still kind of subjective way of doing that. And I go to specifically, I wanted to show. he was still hanging on hold. So thank you for those who uh, were still here. So this report center, so we have a couple of reports that are out there, and if I pull sample portfolio overview reports, so this is basically an Excel that is pulling the information directly from the cloud. And this particular screen is going to show this Excel online. But the point I'm going to make about it is this is full. Let's say portfolio costs something. So here's we have a pretty small portfolio here, and we can switch filter it between in progress project or projects on hold, and this is showing us in a kind of traffic light fashion the status of the schedule, like on track. You can see the schedule, resources, cost, quality, risk. You can see all kind of different parameters that are, that you can have a status, the red, yellow, green, and kind of look at it from the one-page executive view. Where's the red, and you can drill into those projects specifically where it's red. So, and this is just one of the examples of this report. There's like a 300 other different ways to do that, and every time organizations are asking it a little bit differently. So, does it answer the question?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for the question.
Great, thanks, Jim. Okay, great. So we still have what do we have right here? Good presentation. Thanks. Any news about MS Project Standard alone on Mac? I don't think so. I haven't heard of anything as far as Microsoft Desktop coming for the Mac, but you could use Project Online, and therefore you'd be able to use it, on any computer as long as it has a web browser. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah, so Eric is asking the question about the Citrix virtual machine and having the Windows and project on top of it. They have no issues building on top of it. As long as there's Windows environment set up on that virtual machine, you have no problem running MS Project or any other, obviously, online, browser solutions. So, Eric. Not hearing me, I'm going to type it in too.
Sure thing, Eric. Cool. All right. So let's see. Let me scroll up to see if there's anything else. MS says, could you provide some insight how the tool is being used with Scrum projects? Yeah, that's a very, very, very good question. It's very timely too. If you want, send me an email. Let me put this up here. daniel.norkin@trusteditgroup.com, and I can have more of a in-depth conversation with you. But let me give you two different ways that we can have this interact with Project Online. All right. So there's two ways. The first way that you could do this is, let's say that you're just introducing Agile into the organization. So you haven't purchased any licenses for any other Agile tools out there, like Trello. Who else is out there? There's Jira, TFS, etc. Let's say that you have nothing, and you want to use Project Online or Project Server to manage Agile, we have a framework that you can actually manage Agile projects in conjunction to the waterfall projects right in Microsoft Project Online or Project Server. We have a full out drag and drop task board where you can, take your a virtual sticky board from the, from the to do column to in progress, from in progress to done, and make changes to the schedule. You have team rooms where you can run virtual scrum meetings. I mean, it's the full out agile framework. It's compatible with the SAFe organization. We're actually officially aligned with SAFe in that regard, and you can configure that task board to match any other type of columns that you want. You can have many other status updates, if you will. So that's one way. A lot of organizations have already approached a critical mass of users on other tools. Like, let's just talk about Jira, for example, because that happens to be a popular one in our field. So let's say you have a lot of users on Jira, and all you want is visibility into what is going on in Jira. So if you have team members in Jira running agile projects there's no visibility as to what the resources are doing. You don't know the amount of time that they're spending on it. You don't know what projects that they're working on. We can provide an integration service that we call 60i that actually integrates both of these different platforms. So the external agile tools with Project Online or Project Server, so that all of the data points that are relevant to your specific purpose can live in Project Online. And then we would discuss data models, and that kind of gets a little intricate. But just from a very high level, there is absolutely there's a lot of different ways that you can integrate and kind of have an overview of the portfolio, the waterfall portfolio and the agile portfolio, and you would be able to report on all of them. So the framework where agile is done inside Project Online is called 60M, and the integration service that we call the integration broker is called 60I. MS, does that answer your question? Kind of a long-winded answer. Sorry about that. Feel free to send me an email so that I can, I can tell you a little bit more about that and show you a couple presentations and whatnot. Cool. So we still got 15 people here, and we're 15 minutes over. So that's great. Anyone else have any questions? I think that there was another question that I overlooked. Nazir says that should Project Online be used with Office 365, or could it be used with MS Professional? So
Okay, so it sounds like create a dashboard that rolls up the Kaizen. How often is that? Is that like
I'm sorry.
a daily
I'm
roll
sorry,
up?
Angela. Can you repeat that question? Because I think you started and it got a little cut off. Are you there, Angela?
Maybe it wasn't Angela.
Well, someone was just talking. It was a female voice, and
You
your
don't know these
question.
days.
Sorry for the assumption, but I'm gonna I'm gonna roll with that. Um,
Not but laughing. Uh,
So just
yeah.
there
a
you are. Yeah.
percent gain for the Kaizen project, and you're going to be gathering. You're going to be gathering this information for the next 4 months.
I don't understand the
Okay.
question. I think you may be in the wrong meeting.
Angela, can you repeat the
Okay.
question? Because it was I think we've heard the part of the question only, and you said something about the only 4 months ahead or something like that. Was that Angela or someone was speaking?
That was Angela, but I have a feeling that Angela was in. She signed into the wrong meeting.
The Rick, the bottom where you have the 7 projects at, that's just eye candy, right? That's not re, real percentage.
Yeah, I think Angela is on another meeting and she didn't sign off from this one just yet. So
Okay, yeah.
we'll mute Angela, I
Yeah.
guess. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, there was a
Got a
question.
question?
Does Project Online support Prince 2 or PMI methodology?
So yeah, I'll take that then. The Project Online supports both methodologies, and the difference in this case would be the different type of templates that are used for the either gateway control on the Prince2 side or in the PMI methodology, and it used to be perceived as a waterfall primarily by PMBOK, but PMI also signed, committed to to embrace the agile framework as well. So it's not only waterfall, but it's agile methodology as well, considered to be PMI. So the answer is yes, and we had number of cases, number of clients that are strictly using the Prince2 methodology and the gateway control. So this is very much doable. Zero, is it answering the question?
Thanks. Thanks for the question, Azir. It's a very it's a very good question. So we love the questions, and I love the fact that this is still going on. I'll stay on here all day. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one. This is
Yeah.
Jim in Phoenix.
Hey, Jim.
Do you do anything with critical chain project management methodology? And that would be part one of the question. And then part two is, do you do anything with Kanban boards for visual operations?
So the answer is yes to the second one, and I'm gonna let Alex handle the first one.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jim, are you talking about the like a critical path analysis?
No, I'm thinking about like Eliyahu Goldratt's critical chain, where they use it's like critical path, but it includes the resource constraint. It's really good for multi-project programs and portfolios and it also helps with staggering for pipelining.
Yeah, so basically the project online will supply you with all the ways and technology to collect necessary information as far as the critical path from the scheduling perspective, as well as the critical path, from the resource constraint. So what Dan was showing you the portfolio analysis based on the cost constraint, and you can also run the resource analysis where you can push, simulate the scenarios where you can shift project timelines on a schedule, which will allow you to understand better what is the optimum resource utilization and optimum project schedule should look like. So basically, there's no silver bullet to your answer to your question, but the solution will provide you all necessary pieces where you can actually pull them the way you would like it to pull them, and to make a decision using the critical path and critical chain you mentioned.
Okay, I'll have to explore that. Thank you.
Thanks. This was good. A very, very good question.
And then I believe that the second part of the question was, does this project online have a Kanban board? And out of the box, it does not. It looks to their partner ecosystem for that kind of extra functionality, and that is what we could provide, and that's what I was talking about in the earlier in the earlier question, I believe it was MS that had asked that via chat. So we would be able to help you provide some kind of virtual board just to be able to visually represent tasks. So yes.
Thanks.
Great question. Okay, we still have a couple people here. Anyone else have some? Hey Jim, just a follow-up question. Are you currently using MS Project Online, or are you on some other version?
I have MS Project 2013 and 7. 7 does a lot of the critical chain stuff because the companies that created the critical chain software didn't upgrade to 2013 or 16. So I've got an old version of Project 2007 that's good for that. But I'd love to start seeing the critical chain stuff start showing up in newer versions of Project as well as Project Online.
Understood. Great, thanks.
Sure, thanks.
So I believe MS just asked the question if the board that we mentioned, if it's integrated with Project Online, and the board, just as Alex had as he typed back, it's actually built into Project Online. So it's a feature that Trusted IT Group provide, and we can build it right in there.
Another question?
Yeah, please.
One of the benefits with a Kanban board is that the ability to show when a task is blocked. You're in a lean world. You're very concerned about flow, and so it's sort of like a relationship between the Kanban board and an issue tracking system. Do you know of anything like that in Project Online where if somebody's working on a task, they can mark it as blocked so that it shows up in an issue tracking log so that it can be focused on?
Hey, this is Alex. So basically, the answer is yes. It's a configuration that you would, and even within the Kanban board that we just described, that you actually can do like a drag and drop in on the board. And the backend is tied to tasks anyway. So if you mark anything as block, it becomes part of the data set that you can report on. So basically, on that status report or on the portfolio report, you can pull all the blocked items and see whether they're sitting on the critical path, or you can look at them separately, and if you want, you can create issues and kind of manage those blocks. But it's built into scalability to make this happen using the simple configuration steps.
Great. That's really good for stand-up meetings where instead of focusing on what was done or what's going to be done, it's just to focus on the blocks. So if with the combination of the Kanban board and that automatic status update of what's blocked, that's a really good feature. I'm glad to hear that that's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that the block feature is a standard feature on that Kanban and Agile Scrum board of the solution that we have. So it's actually because it's a common feature for any Agile solution. So build it in as well.
Great. Thank you.
MS just asked, are risk and issue management available out of the box in Project Online? And those are available out of the box. There are areas to log in the issues and the risks. Yeah. No extra coding necessary. Just maybe some configuration just to be able to set that up.
If you want, we can actually, then you may want to show the sample of the project site.
Yeah, sure. So, MS, are you gonna hang around for a little bit? Okay, good. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Could you see the screen?
Yes, Daniel.
Okay, thanks. All right, so this would be a great location to be able to do that. So, okay, so let's just take this scenario. So Jerry, well, it doesn't matter who it is, but just showing you. So we can go ahead into the project that we created in this session, Day in a Life project. And we can go right into the project site. On the project site, you would be able to store documents, tasks, have a calendar there, project details, and of course you'd be able to have your deliverables, your risks, and your issues. So here you can log in any of your risks, and here you would be able to log in any of your issues, such as vacation time that's coming up, any blackout dates. If you're in retail, there might be Black Friday coming up, regulatory issues, etc. Does that answer your question? Great, thanks. Another great question. So, any other questions? This is great. We're 30 minutes over. All right, well, we're going once, we're going twice, and okay, good. So, listen again, for everyone that had stayed for the extra time. I hope that everyone enjoyed it. Thanks so much for the extra questions, especially from Jim. Thanks for chiming in. MS as well. Thank you for all the questions, and we really appreciate your time. Keep an eye open for the emails. I hope to see everyone in our Facebook group, and liking our Facebook page. We do, like I said, we do continuously try to educate the PPM community. We are going to be going back on tour this summer, so we hope to see you. If there's any particular requests, we can come into your organization and do this kind of project immersion center, or speak about any other topics that you would like. So feel free to reach out to me, and everyone have a great holiday weekend. Take care.